Hi, my name is Fedra Gravanis, and I'm here to talk about how remixes are a cash grab. Or so we thought until we realized the values that are behind them. I want to challenge you and ask you to think about what a remix is to you. Most people would have said a song or a TikTok audio or something of the sort because that's where we most popularly see it. Remixes and reboots are a very similar thing, but they are also vastly different. The job of a reboot is to make slight changes to something that already is. In a song or in a TikTok audio, this could be having a small lyric change, or it could be keeping the exact same lyrics and just choosing a different singer to represent the song. The job of a remix, though, is to reinvent a piece of art, and this is something that we see everywhere around us and may not notice. An example of a remix could be a filmmaker's way to keep a piece alive and a piece moving with the time, growing with the audience. And this could be done by modernizing it, by making a lot of maybe minor, maybe large changes to a piece that already is. My favorite example of this is The Great Gatsby. And although many people don't think of this as a remix, or maybe it isn't something that comes to mind when you think of a remix, that's exactly what it is. The Great Gatsby was a book that was turned into a movie. I am a book person, and I promise you, although the book allowed the reader to feel and imagine all the vibrant colors and to bring the emotion down or bring the emotion back up when it's time to do that, it's very different watching it in a movie, and I believe that they did a very good job with that. This is a great way to see the value of a remix. Because the book allowed the reader's imagination to run free and to imagine all the beautiful colors and emotion and extravagant parties that Gatsby would have, the movie took that and took the creative liberty to paint it and put it on a screen. Somebody saw the book, saw their vision, and decided to put it out for people to be able to visualize. That is exactly what a remix does. It takes a piece of literature and makes changes to it to reinvent it. Now, with all that said, I understand how reboot and remixes can still be confused, but keep in mind that they are vastly different. A huge similarity that these two have, which I believe is the reason why a lot of people confuse them, is because they both bring emotions up to the surface and they both do make some changes to a piece of literature or a piece of art. The easiest way to distinguish a remix, though, is that it has the power to bring the same piece of literature that you know to a different audience, and it does so because of the changes. It does so because of its way of modernizing and bringing something right back to life in a way that maybe the original creator hadn't imagined. Although yes, reboots can also bring the same piece of literature to a different audience, it will not be such a large change like a remix will be. One of the most valuable things about a remix is that it does give creative liberty. It allows somebody to take something that already exists, something that was already created, and remake it. To take what's already there, the values, the morals, the beauty, and make it new. Also, one of the most powerful things that a remix can do that a reboot can't really do is shine light on unappreciated work, and that can be done through bringing it to a new audience. How many times have you seen a movie that was based on a book you'd never heard about before? How many times was it an author that you never heard about before? Now take a second and think about what that might have done for that author. How many new pairs of eyes could have seen his work because of the coming to life of that movie? Shining light on unappreciated work is one of the most powerful things that remix can do because there is so much talent and beauty hidden in this world simply because it isn't mainstream media. Think about how many times you've read a book or seen a movie that you know had great potential, that you could see had a lot going for it, but it wasn't executed so well. This is a very powerful thing that a remix can do because it can give the audience what they want. It can fill their appetite by creating something new based on their feedback, based on what they want to see. Also, something really nice that I saw when doing my project was that a remix can be created to grow with an audience. A lot of times we see movies that were released when we were kids that really shaped our childhood. Or think about what would happen if one of those cartoons that you watched growing up became a live action. One of the movies from the early 2000s that you saw and were amazed by and felt the magic of became a live action that you could watch now as an adult. Isn't that powerful? Yes, remixes do have economic benefit for the company that does make them, but that really isn't what they were about. There's a lot of companies who hold their values to a true moral standard, and that's exactly the kind of movies that they produce. Powerful movies, not cash grab movies. Now, to bring it back to music, think about how many times you've heard of a remix on TikTok of a song that you never heard about before. Take a second to think about what that did for the artist. Take a second to think how that remix impacted their lives and maybe made their music more mainstream or brought it to more people's ears. Or think about how many songs went viral on social media because somebody made a cover of a song of a maybe low-key artist. I know I've done this a million times where I hear a remix version because of a DJ that maybe they even have posted online, and then I go back to the original and it's just as good or maybe even better. Another really good benefit of remixes when it comes to music is that it allows producers to stamp their own Another really good thing about a remix, especially when it comes to music, is that it can allow a producer, maybe a not so famous producer, to put their own stamp on an original creation and reinvent it, to make a piece of music maybe even a million times better. Or think about how many times you've heard of a remix that you just thought was 100 times better than the original. A way that this was done that you may not necessarily think about is acoustic versions of songs. That's exactly what it is, a remix. I know that's what I do a lot of times, is I take an acoustic version of a song and I put that into my playlist, because sometimes you can hear more emotion, you can feel the music more, or you can focus way more on the lyrics and what's important regarding the song. Now take everything I said into account and think about all that the remix does. It can benefit a lot of people, and a lot of people that really need it, or a lot of people that really deserve it. It can create new emotion to a piece. It can add Now take everything I said into account and think about all that a remix does. It can benefit a lot of people that really deserve it, or even that really need it. It can benefit a new writer, a new filmmaker, a new song artist that really could change their lives. A remix can create new emotion to add into a piece. It can make a piece feel more raw. It can listen to the audience and take the feedback and make them feel like they were heard. There's a lot of benefits that come from remixes when it comes to the piece, but let's also take a look at everything it does for the people, for the society, for the companies. Because the nature of a remix essentially is art, it can bring a culture together, it can bring a society together. It is something that you can talk about and something that you can comment on and maybe meet new people through. On the other hand, it can also really help a company. How many companies have made a comeback, or how many companies have made a new name for themselves by fixing their own mistakes, or taking what's old and making it new, by making a new version, a remix of it. Remixes are really, really important, and they're everywhere around us. It can be a building that's renovated, it can be a car that's modded, it can be a music that's remade, that's remixed. They really are a building block for our society, and if you open your eyes, you may see one that's next to you. And that was all. Hey guys, can you be quiet, please? Thank you, I'm filming for a project. Can you not? Okay. So the book does do a great color job of painting colors. Okay, I'll take it from the book. Or should I take it from the top? Okay, I'll take it from the top. But pause right there. You don't have to search, because this is one right in front of you. Yes, this entire discussion is essentially our version of a remix. The birth of an idea is a notion brought together in order to create multiple works with people's opinions and thoughts about art. That in itself is 5 different remixes. These are remixed into one main theme, to be remixed into the points to be followed within the video, to be remixed into what you just watched for the past about 10 minutes. That sounds like a lot, and I did say the word remix a lot, but the fact is that most media streams from an inspiration, if not multiple. I mean, think about the things that you've watched in the past. Adding someone's originality to a new work makes it more exciting and worthwhile as a source for future artists seeking their inspiration. I want you to think about it like this. As remixers, our possibilities are essentially endless. There's inspiration and things to be remixed everywhere around us, and it doesn't just have to be media. It can be physical things. It just takes one to strive to work towards something that has the opportunity to be innovative and helpful to society. The remix formally is a piece of media which has been altered or contoured from its original state by adding, removing, or changing pieces of the item. A song, a piece of artwork, a book, a poem, or a photograph can all be examples of remixes. But there's so much more to it than just the official definition. Arguably, where remixes hold the most value is during the process. So many things can be learned by doing, or trying, or making mistakes. And that really is the values that do hide behind a remix. If the process didn't exist, or if the mistakes didn't exist, or maybe even all the things we learned along the way didn't exist, then there would be no value to the result. Then it would have no weight, it would have no passion. Some of the best remixes out there are created out of passion. They are things created out of a need for something better, something different, something more revolutionizing. Different people hold different values of what a remix is. For some people, making slight adjustments to an original piece constitutes the process. For other people, taking something and completely changing it, but leaving behind just a few hints of what was original, is what it is. And part of that is what makes it so hard to define. There isn't just one definition. There isn't just one process, but rather a series of definitions, a series of processes that create this. For some reason, a remix can be just a cover of the original version. A cover would look like the original piece with just their art style, or maybe their vocals, or perhaps their film style. Or some people even consider taking something of somebody else's, you could say an original piece, and turning it into something of their own. I want you to think about the fact that everybody is a remix, and even if it doesn't appear that way off the bat, it is important to know that this was just something to simply create, to mess around with, to get one's creative juices flowing in the way that they need to get their imagination running. Every time something is remixed, it'll always help one person, the remixer. The choice to manipulate and work for mental stimulation, a growth pattern that essentially anybody can indulge in, moving forward while appreciating the past as well as the process. And I understand that you might not necessarily see, for example, this video as a remix that's helpful to society at all, but I challenge you to think about how much better our world would be if a few more people just used their mind more often. If they used their creativity to explain something or to work towards something, especially if that is within a group like we are doing right now. That is the beauty and the value behind the remix. Please be an artist, support an artist, see art, watch art, write art, because I know that you can make something incredibly powerful. You just need an inspiration. And maybe next time if you're struggling with that, please think back to this exact moment. You are the remixer, and you do have every power to manipulate things to your creativity. Thank you.